Hey, Sean here from Cinetalk. Just wanted to do a video review of The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which I got a chance to see last week at a like Q&A screening, I suppose they call it. You get one of these given to you at the end, which has loads of questions about the film, etc, etc. Ask you what you like, what you didn't like, and I thought I'd use it to make a review. So I'm going to skip the first few questions, which are just like your age, male, female, etc, etc, straight to question 5. How would you rate The Sorcerer's Apprentice? I have a choice between excellent, very good, good, fair, poor. I would put it somewhere between the fair and the good boxes, just because it wasn't the worst film I've ever seen. It wasn't great, but for, you know, it's for the kids. Would I recommend The Sorcerer's Apprentice to my friends? I'm gonna go for the probably not, which is the third option, just because I know my friends and I know that this is not the sort of film they're gonna want to watch. If you would definitely or probably recommend the film, where and when would you recommend it be seen? Okay, so I've already said that I wouldn't, but if I was gonna recommend it to be seen, I can see it at the cinema as soon as it opens, at the cinema sometime, DVD, Blu-ray, pay-per-view, video on demand, wait to see it on television for free. I would probably say, you know, maybe rent it, video on demand, Netflix or Love Film, watch it on television for free. It's not it's not one of those films I would rush to go and see at the cinema. Parents only. I'm a parent. Would you recommend The Sorcerer's Apprentice to other parents for their children? Definitely. Definitely. This is, I mean, that's the audience it's made for. It's made for the family. It's a very family friendly film. Yeah, other parents I would definitely say take your kids to see it, because like Martin McFly once said, your kids are going to love it. What would you tell your friends about this movie? Not whether you liked it or not, but how would you describe it to them using single words or short phrases? Please focus on the film generally, rather than the storyline specifically. So, single words and short phrases. Family film, typical Disney, National Treasure like with magic. I mean, it's the National Treasure crew pretty much back together. Harry Potter-esque, enjoyable, funny but for kids sort of thing, enjoyable but more for kids. I'm sure there are some outside that are going to like it. My dad would probably like this film. Please list the scenes or parts of the films you like the most, and I get like 3 little gaps to list the scenes. I really enjoyed the car chase. There's like a mini sort of car chase in between it, but we'll get back to that in a minute as well. The scene in the magic shop, like near the beginning, where they sort of meet, where Jay Baruchel and Nicolas Cage meet, that was alright, and there wasn't really much more. Please list those if any you like the least. And the scenes that I liked the least was also the car chase, because during the car chase, Nicolas Cage's character Balthazar, he's driving like this Oldsmobile, this like old Ford Bentley sort of thing, 1920s, 1930s car, and for some reason decides to change it into like a zippy sports car, and that really bugged me a bit. And also there was this scene where they sort of tumbled through into a mirror world, and it lasts for about 30 seconds. It really bugged me because I would have liked to see more done with that. Another scene that I just despised was the opening scene, which is this terrible sort of prologue opening introduction to the characters of Monica Bellucci, Alfred Molina, and Nicolas Cage's character, and how they were like apprentices and blah blah blah, sort of sets the story rolling, but it's dreadful. There's no need for it either. It's just a waste of time, because you tell all that story during the film. The end battle scenes and the final scenes or whatever, always disappointing in films like this. They're always anticlimactic. Parents only. Considering your children, what did you like about the film? I like that it's a pretty family friendly film, and I think the kids are really going to dig it. Parents only. Again, considering your children. I don't know why I'm always constantly considering my child. Was there anything you disliked about the film? No, not really. I don't know why I would consider I suppose like I was supposed to say something like, "Oh, it's too violent for my child." No, if anything, it's not violent enough. Did you find any parts of the film confusing that weren't cleared up by the end? No. Why did they have that opening scene? It still bugs me so much, the opening. If you found any parts confusing, please explain where and when you were confused. I was not confused at all through this film. What are you feeling about the way the film ended? What are your feelings about the way the film ended? Could have been better. Now I've got to rate each of the characters. So Nicolas Cage plays Balthazar Blake. I would rate him as, good. He's just playing Nicolas Cage with magic. David Starr, played by Joe Baruchel, good again. He's just playing the same character he pretty much always plays. Maxim Horvath, played by Alfred Molina. I'm gonna say fair, just because I don't know why Alfred Molina is doing films like this. Becky, Dave's love interest, played by Teresa Palmer. Poor, she's very bland. I couldn't care less about the tiny little love story they tried to slip in as a subplot. That adds nothing to the film, by the way. Veronica, played by Monica Bellucci, she's not in it very long, so I'm just going to rate somewhere between fair and poor. Drake Stone, Horvath's helper, English magician, played by Toby Kebbell. He was flat out annoying, so somewhere between poor and fair, because he did deliver some of the comedy moments. Bennett, played by Omar Benson Miller. Again, he wasn't in it that long. Like, he must have about 6 scenes that last all but about 20 seconds each. So I don't even know. Like, he does play quite a role in moving the story forward. I won't any spoilers or anything. So somewhere between fair and poor again. And Morgana, played by Alice Cridge, who spends most of the time inside a Russian doll. How would you rate each of the following elements of the movie? So we got the story. I would say it was good. The action was good for a family film, although very short, in short bursts. The comedy, I don't remember laughing a lot in this film, and I don't remember hearing the audience laugh a lot. There were a few moments where jokes were cracked and fun was had, but so somewhere between good and fair. The suspense, it wasn't a very suspenseful film, so somewhere between fair and poor. The special effects were very good, and very good is one of the options, so I'm going to take that. The music was good as well. I can't remember who did the music for The Sorcerer's Apprentice, but it was very good. The pace was near excellent for this type of film. The pace of this film is brilliant. You don't feel the time at all. The settings, New York City and magic, but we don't see that much really of New York City, so good. The ending was between fair and poor. Like I said, it's very anticlimactic. The romance was poor. It was flat out poor. You could have completely taken the whole romantic subplot out of the film and still had a very enjoyable film. Which of the following words and phrases, if any, would you use to describe The Sorcerer's Apprentice? Now, believable is not one of them, although that's the first choice. Let's say entertaining, good cinematography, maybe. Silly in a good way. Yeah, I suppose silly in a good way. That's about it. How familiar are you with the Sorcerer's Apprentice segment of the 1940 film Fantasia with Mickey Mouse? I've watched the full segment. I love Fantasia. What other films, if any, does the Sorcerer's Apprentice remind you of? Harry Potter, I suppose, but just because of the magical element. National Treasure, but just because it's got that sort of